Is there something you could say that our listeners could do immediately to start thinking that way of being innovative and prototyping and piloting if that's maybe not in their wheelhouse?
Yeah, great question. I'll give you a couple ideas, and maybe listeners can decide which one makes the most sense in their circumstance. There's a common a technique called a SWOT analysis, and SWOT is just SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. I think the first thing an entrepreneur can do is just do a little simple informal SWOT analysis on their business. What are their strengths?
Okay.
What are their weaknesses? Where are they vulnerable? What might be the opportunities? And think about how everything's sort of changing right now. There may be new opportunities that didn't even exist 4 months ago, and threats,
Sure.
same is true, because that may inform the direction they need to take as they think about what goes into their innovation portfolio. And what I like about
Mhm.
that, there's both an offensive nature to it again and a defensive nature, because sometimes they've
Right.
got to protect what they've got. And sometimes they feel like, hey, here's a chance for me to take some new ground and set my business up for the future. So that's one thing. And then I would say, do a little honest assessment of what is in your innovation pantry right now, or your book, as you
Mhm.
said. Are you vulnerable, or do you need to get cranking on some new ideas? And just to
Mhm.
share a little story from Chick-fil-A, we obviously had no idea that the world was going to turn upside down. But that second, third
Mhm.
week in March, we had to close all of our dining rooms. And we were able
Right.
to quickly pivot all of the service at our freestanding restaurants to either drive-through, curbside pickup, or delivery. And we were able to push people to use an app that we had been developing. Now, we had been working
Yeah.
on all those things for a while, but had no idea that they would pay off like
Yeah.
they did during this season. And we saw the way that people use them just skyrocket up. And so we
Mhm.
we benefited from having already done that. So I would say to listeners,
Right.
you've got to adopt this mindset that nothing's static, and you kind of have to walk around with it's almost like you got a little chip on your shoulder, this healthy
Yeah.
discontent with status quo. Even if
Sure.
life's awesome right now, it may not always be that way.
The shoe's
So,
gonna drop at some point or another.
for all of us,
Just
right?
plan on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
world, the marketplace is so dynamic, and
Mhm.
unlike ever before, it's changing. So just to have that mindset is a specific action
Mhm.
item. And then I think one thing we can do, we can share what we call our launch loop, and you guys can post that up to your show notes if you like. And it just
Would
is
love
a
to.
very simple explanation of that design thinking process that I made reference to. And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be sophisticated or expensive. It doesn't matter if you're a solo entrepreneur or you're a big company. I think the same practices and principles can apply. The scale of how you use it, it's going to vary. But I would just challenge people: learn to think like this. And it's a
Mhm.
way to conserve the resources you've got and make sure that as you come up with new ideas, you are responsible in bringing them to market, and you're more likely to have winners. You'll cull out. Here's the other thing I would say: expect ideas to fail. We try to
Yes.
celebrate failure. If
Sure.
if you have failures, it means you're trying a lot of stuff. Here's the key: you just want to vet them out early, and that's what this process is helping you do. Is get the ones that are not going to pay off out, so that what you ultimately commit your energy and resources to has a greater chance of succeeding and supporting you in your business.